Ich wollte gerade reinzoomen und denke, das ist aber ein nettes Bild. Und in dem Moment kommt es aus mir raus. Sie muss Kuchen sagen, wenn er wieder da ist. Also jetzt hätte ich es auch sagen können. Also quasi die Werbung ging an, als ich aufgemacht habe. War sie hier. Und dann kam uns da was entgegen. Und mehr ist auch noch nicht passiert. Genau, also das, wie gesagt, du hast einen Jumpscare verpasst, der wahrscheinlich eher lustig für alle anderen war. Oder vielleicht auch erschreckerlich. Aber es ist storymäßig nichts passiert. Bin auch absolut kein Fan davon, dass Werbung läuft. Aber ich kann da halt nicht viel machen. Wir haben es schon versucht, so gut wie möglich einzustellen. Weil sie einfach brüllen, wenn Werbung ist, dann bleibe ich stehen und mache nichts. Nicht viel. Kuchen, leider nicht viel. Wo ist schon wieder das Telefon? Da. Hello, Sir? Ich wollte mich noch umgucken. We need to find the key and get out. Ja. Mach. Wir machen. Ey, das Spiel ist manchmal schon echt ein bisschen lustig. Hier fliegen so Leute durch die Gegend. Muss das so? Und warum sind hier auf einmal all diese ganzen Türen? Also vorher waren das noch normale Türen. Okay. Wir sollen also in die Richtung, wo die Puppe lang geflogen ist. Der Mensch. Was auch immer. Wait a second. Graphics. Ja. Quasi nach jedem Mal stellt er sich um. Nach jedem... Ah! So. Obwohl es jetzt gerade auch ging, ne? I don't know. Oh, ich weiß nicht, ich finde Dachböden auch nicht so schön. Also ich sag's noch. Das ist auch ein Riesending, ne? Oh, ich habe kein gutes Gefühl. All the answers are in the attic room. They are all the key to the exit. Ja, dann let's go. Aber hier darf ich nicht lang. Was ist das eigentlich für eine komische Riesenbude? Komm darauf nicht klar, ne? Den Hint hatten wir jetzt schon, ne? Das war das, was ich gerade vorgelesen habe. Ich bin immer lost. Ihr kennt mich ja. waren wir doch eben gerade überall schon. Und hier sind wir gekommen, ne? Ja. Hier geht's halt auch nicht weiter, ne? Doch wieder runter. Weil die Tür war ja zu, ne? Nee, runter dürfen wir auch nicht mehr. Ach, Kinders, come on. You can read the whole story of the house. Das ist ja schön und gut, aber das jetzt alles nochmal lesen. Also, ist ja nice gemacht, ne? Aber gerade wenn du nicht... Ja. The house was built in 1876 buying manual. Soon after the construction, the house was put out for sale. It was bought by a Spanish doctor who recently moved from Spain with his wife and daughter. His name was Manuel Lopez. He worked at the Story County Clinic and was a scientist. After 6 months of living in this house, Manuel equipped a laboratory in the basement where he Schnitzel forbade his wife and daughter to go down. He put a lock on the door, which only he had the key to. Manuel began to study the personal files of his patients to come to their homes and in every way the insinuate himself into their confidence then to put them to sleep and kidnap them. Manuel was obsessed with his business and raved only about what would save people from the fears. Kinders, ich glaube, ich lese jetzt aus Englisch durch und versuche es einfach kurz zusammenzufassen, wa? Ist auch scheiße. Aber das ist das, was wir alles schon gelesen haben. The house was built... Ja. Manuel told how he dealt with his wife and child. The wife died 4 days later. 4 days later. She was terrified of rats. On the second day, hungry animals began to eat her flesh. His wife's name was Zoe, and she held on to the last, trying to help her daughter Brittany. Their cells were next to each other. The wife wrote her husband a suicide note. Manuel, we have always considered you a good man, father and husband. But with your research and experiments, you have gone mad. I sacrificed myself so that our daughter could live. Ah, das hier der Kappes, ne? Macht da seine Studien und hat angefangen, die Leute zu kidnappen, weil er halt... Und hat halt seine Frau und seine Tochter damit reingezogen. Manuel left the following entry in one place where only he could find it. It was almost discovered. One of my test subjects managed to escape and hide from me. It was my daughter. She was only 8 years old, and she was terribly afraid of enclosed spaces. I made a confident and put her there. Brittany is my most successful experiment. Because she coped with her fear, was able to get out and escape. She told the police about everything that happened in this house. They will come for me soon. Er hat 12 Leute umgebracht. Including wife and daughter of Manuel Lopez. My notes are in the library on the second floor. Brittany died in 1940 on the age of... Okay, seine Tochter hat überlebt. Und er ist in die Psychiatrie gegangen und hat sich umgebracht. Okay, das ist Story 1. The second story. Das ist die komische Walker-Familie. The young Walker family moved to Story County to start a new life. They were interested in the house, which was built almost a century ago and was now being sold at very horrible price. Realtor Mark told the Walker family that 80 years ago a terrible accident happened in this house. The scientist experimented on people and eventually killed his wife for the sake of the experiment. His daughter survived. She died later in 1940, and the scientist himself ended up in the psychiatric hospital where he soon committed suicide. Also, zweite Geschichte, die Walker-Familie, ne? Husband Aaron decided to consult his wife Maggie whether they should buy a house. 11 years old daughter Mary told her mother that the house scares her. Maggie cautiously agreed with Aaron to buy the mansion. A couple of days later, the Walkers moved into the house, and Mary, after the first night, told her mother that there was someone in her room. Maggie thought that the girl had an imaginary friend, but he said that soon the house would thrill with them all. 4 months later, Aaron decided to make repairs in the basement, forbidding Mary to go there. He was afraid that the ceiling might collapse, and there were also a lot of rats. Aaron found a lot of notes there, which he took upstairs to the library. I was sure that it could rid people of their inner fears, leaving them alone with their fear until the last minute of their lives. Okay, quasi Daddy ist ins Basement gegangen und hat da Dinge gemacht und hat Notizen gefunden. Obwohl die doch eigentlich schon längst in der Library sein sollten, oder? Ach, Kinders, ihr könnt das gar nicht selber lesen, meine Cam davor ist, ne? Komm. Ich weiß nicht, da machen wir sie hin erstmal. Ich mach sie gleich wieder woanders hin. Huch. Hallo? Hallo? Viel? Danke. Also Daddy hat im Basement lustige Dinge getrieben. Maggie studied the diary of a certain Manuel Lopez and found the diary for 1877 the following note. The list of the patients on the womb experiment were conducted. Okay, das haben wir schon gelesen. Das sind halt die ganzen mit ihrer 4. Es sind aber nur 5 Leute, obwohl da irgendwas von 12 stand. Okay. After reading the entry, something otherworldly began in the house. Every day, its inhabitants saw a girl and a woman in a dress everywhere. Okay. On September 12, 1956, Mary turned 12 years old. From the report of the Nevada County detective, on the same night, the Walker family tragically died. The husband and wife were stabbed right in the bed and were found the girl alive in her room with a bloody knife. She was covered in blood and it was written on the walls. Kill them, take possession of their souls, and let them find peace. When Mary was found, the police tried to question her, but the girl was delirious and repeated the same phrase. The voice made me kill them all. She was sent to the psychiatric hospital for compulsory treatment. In 1984, they left there and returned to live in the house where everything happened. Also, Kinders. Die zweite Geschichte ist die Walker-Familie. Daddy hat Dinge im Basement gemacht. Mutti hat irgendwelche Aufzeichnungen und Diaries gelesen. Und dann ist die Tochter ein bisschen bescheuert im Kopf geworden und hat ihre Eltern gekillt. Und hat gesagt, ne, die Stimme im Kopf hat gesagt, ich soll das machen. Oh, das ist noch so viel zu lesen. Die dritte Geschichte. Quasi eine neue Familie kommt in das Haus. Olivia und Bette, wahrscheinlich Beth, kommen to Aunt Mary's for a few days while... Warte mal. Mary geht zurück in das Haus, wo sie ihre Eltern gekillt hat. Aber warum denn Aunt? Dann haben sie ja 2 Kinder gehabt. Sonst geht das mit der Aunt doch gar nicht. Also mit der Tante. Naja. Olivia and Beth come to Aunt Mary's for a few days while they search for their fathers after their mother's death. Beth is a little afraid of the house where Mary lives, but her older sister calms her down. They are clearly seeing their aunt for the first time, and she is not particularly disposed to guess. Moreover, she openly declared that she does not want to see girls in her house. However, she was no choice, and Aunt Mary settled her niece in the room where she used to live herself 30 years ago as a little girl. Aunt immediately announced the rules of staying in the house. The light turns off 23 Uhr. If a noise is heard in the house, you need to ignore it. You cannot wander around the house, especially at night. You cannot leave the room until 6. Alright. In addition to Mary, her friend Charlie lived in the house, who played the role of gardener and cook. According to him, Mary is very, very good and kind. The first night at dinner, Beth almost died. She had an asthma attack after the thought someone else was sitting at the table. Olivia ran upstairs to get an inhaler, and Beth was miraculously... Ich kann dieses Wort nicht aussprechen. Saved. Sie ist safe. Das reicht. Ohne mit so viel Englisch vorlesen ist auch echt nicht funny. The house is very old. Charlie told them many things happened in it. The most important thing is to stick to the rules that Aunt Mary told you about. Ich glaube, Toka, wir sind so gut wie am Ende. Wir sind so gut wie am Ende. At night, Olivia and Beth... Ich finde das so gut, dass da Bette steht. At night, Olivia and Beth went to bed. And at 3:30, Beth woke up to voices calling her to go down to the basement. She tried to wake Olivia up, but she didn't wake up. When Beth followed the voice to... Ich trinke kurz was. Then Beth followed the voice that led her to the basement, where it was strictly forbidden to go. The door opened for Beth by itself, and a voice called her to follow. When she went down there, she saw a woman who introduced herself as Beth's mother. Das haben wir schon gelesen. She asked me to take the diary and read the following words. Accept my sacrifice, deliver me from fear, give me strength, and give it to the essence of evil. After reading the words, Beth woke up in her bed and thought she had a terrible dream. Ich glaube, wir sind fast am Ende, ja, ich bin mir nicht ganz sicher. Aber hier ist gerade die Story-Zusammenfassung, deswegen denke ich, dass wir so gut wie durch sind. Und das Game soll auch nur eine Stunde gehen und ich bin schon wieder 1,5 Stunden drüber. During dinner, Beth began to behave very strangely. She had a brutal hunger. It was the entity that lived in the house that captured the girl's mind. Aunt immediately understood what was going on. According to her, the same thing happened to Beth that happened to her many years ago. He was small and killed her... Was? He was small and killed her entire family, after which she lay in a psychiatric hospital for 18 years. Charlie, who Mary met in the pathetic hospital, owed her his life. Once she covered him up for one dark business, which is why she stayed in the hospital for another 10 years. And Charlie was released, and all this time he was studying what really happened in this house from the moment it was built. Ja, gab's. Obwohl es eher auch zum Lachen war, muss ich sagen. Wie gesagt, ich weiß noch nicht, ist gerade Story-Zusammenfassung. Es geht, glaube ich, noch ein bisschen weiter. Aber gucken wir mal. Charlie and Mary tried to explain to Olivia that the demonic entity lived in the house, which wants to possess the child and kill everyone who lived here. Olivia did not believe them, so they injected her with sleeping pills and took her to her room. And Bess was locked in the attic, where she remained until her death. Nevada County Detective turned in case Nummer 12 of Mary's murder. The killer has not yet been found. Olivia was shot in the head, Charlie's throat was cut, and Mary was found in the basement. He was eaten alive by rats. Beth was found in the attic. She died after an asthmatic attack. Fände ich nicht so lustig, to be honest. Okay, dritte Geschichte. Ich weiß zwar nicht, wie sie Nichten haben kann, die gute Mary. Aber Mary lebt da in dem Haus von den Walkers, ne? Und ihre Nichte wurde dämonisch besessen und hat sie auch alle irgendwie gekillt. Oder auch nicht. Oder wer war's? Und jetzt die letzte Geschichte. I guess das ist meine Geschichte. Nee, noch nicht. Clara accept the house which was inherited by her as a legitimate inheritance. Detective Josh Wilson of the Nevada District took out documents in which there was a donation from Aunt Mary. Kannst du das bitte... Was steht da? Okay, Paul kann gerade nicht. Was auch immer in my house to my niece. If they cannot accept their inheritance, the house go to their sisters or brothers. Interessant. Clara was 32 years old. She moved into Aunt Mary's house with her husband Mark and daughter Sophie. Stimmt, die waren da auch noch. Nee, die Aussprache hätte ich gebraucht, aber das ist schon gut. Ja. Nur wie man das ausspricht, ist halt so, ne? Aber das macht ja nichts. Wir verstehen ja den Kontext am Ende des Tages trotzdem. Ich kann es noch nicht vorlesen, aber dafür könnt ihr ja selber lesen. Genau, irgendwas war da mit Sophie, die Geschichte. Aber dann ist da ja noch der Detektiv und wir in dem Haus. Jetzt bin ich schon drüber, aber danke, Doka. Genau, with Mark and daughter Sophie. 9 days later, on August 12, 1997, she was supposed to be 12 years old. On August 3rd, 1997, when Clara and Mark were in the house, Sophie had her first encounter with a demonic force. She woke up and screamed. When Clara came running to her, the girl told her mother that there was someone in the room. She calmed her daughter and turned on the light for the night. A week passed, the daughter made a friend. Her name was Brittany. Clara thought it was a girl from school. Nein, Brittany Walker. Weil sie die allererste. Nee, Brittany, gar nicht Walker. Walker waren die zweiten, Brittany waren die allerersten. War die Tochter von dem verrückten Professor. Oh, 2 letters to go. In this diary on the night of August 10th, Mark wrote, "We moved here a week ago and my wife Clara found an old book in the library entirely in Latin. My wife taught this language, so she took up the study of the book. After that, strange things happened in the house every day." Hätte sie mal das Buch nicht gelesen. On August 11th, Mark completed his entry. "Today I heard voices. We know you're here and we're starting the game. There was no need to disrupt us." Then he woke up and hear voices. "Kill them, take them, catch them." Ja, das ist schon... Josh Wilson. Case number 12. A brutal murder on August 12, 1997. After 11 years, the murder in this house was repeated. The killer of Sophie was found in the attic and there was a father's note next to it. My daughter Sophie complained that she heard strange noises in the attic and basement, but was sure it was just rats. On August 12, 1997, my Sophie turned 12 years old. When they examining the body, another note was found in Sophie's hand. The note says the following. After 23, Sophie heard voices that made her kill her whole family and then go up to the attic and cut her wrist. Sophie has been possessed by an evil that has been there for a very long time. Detective Josh Wilson reported that additional investigation is required when you get permission. I'll go there myself and check everything out. Das war anstrengend, Kinders. Quasi, mal gucken, was passiert. Das hat jetzt irgendwie so ein bisschen den Vibe gekillt, finde ich, dass wir so viel lesen mussten. Und, war das jetzt schon das Ende oder was? Ich konnte das ein Wort noch nicht aussprechen. Aber, ist das jetzt das Ende? Aber ich komme hier nicht raus. Vor allem, wenn das ist... Warte.